The biggest challenge of IT sales is the gap between sales expectations and delivery practicality. Fortunately, we at Qentelli have a crucial team that bridges both ends and ensures there is transparency, innovation, and promise in each solution we deliver to our clients. In the third episode of Qentelli's Fireside Chat, we have Sridhar Jayaraman with us. He heads solution engineering at Qentelli. Hi Sridhar, how did your journey start with Qentelli?
I was working in my previous organization, and I was the counterpart for the sales head there. And when Sanjay, who was also an ex-colleague of that person, asked her, do you know anybody in pre-sales? She referred me, and that's how I met Sanjay. Probably we had about a 10-minute chat with Sanjay, and then I spoke to Rashi for a few minutes, and that's it, I landed here.
To someone who've never heard of Qentelli, how do you introduce the company?
The famous elevator speech, okay. The short answer in a sentence for people who are generally impatient is we are a technology company that is innovation-led and product-driven. Right? So that's how kind of characterize it. For a longer answer, obviously we have a spiel, and I cannot talk without a standard PowerPoint presentation, the obligatory one. How we are different is that we bring an innovation mindset to the problems, and we focus on technology problems that people find it hard to solve. We start where other people stop, or where other people fail in different contexts.
So 2020 changed a lot of things. How did it change the service providers and the clients and how they connect?
The equation has changed across a few dimensions. Number one, when they are buying either products or services, they want to kind of de-risk it because they don't want to spend money, experiment and fail. They are breaking complex business sales into much smaller and simpler pieces. They are falling back on people who they trust, people who know from their earlier relationships, from networking and so on. Because of the pandemic and the need to de-risk things, people are going back to their old ways of working and saying, if I know somebody, or if I know somebody who has done this before, I would rather go that way. Rather than look for some new innovative or new areas or new companies.
Too risky at this time.
Yeah, too risky at that time.
So how do you identify an opportunity when you come across a prospect profile?
One, there is serious intent. Second, there is a problem that needs to be solved. And three, people are willing to put money on the table for that. Right.
What does a typical client's lifestyle look like in Qentelli?
There are these 4 stages of forming, storming, norming and performing. We sign up with a client, so that's the forming stage. And once the honeymoon period, as we call it, is over, there starts a phase where people discover problems. The cultural aspects are different, the working styles are different, and that's the most dangerous phase because the relationship may either break or make at that point. We acknowledge mistakes, we fix them as soon as we can, and we give confidence to our customer. Yes, there are mistakes, there are challenges in every relationship, whether it is professional or personal, but how we handle that is the key, right? And so once we are able to move past the storming stage, that when we come to the norming stage, the duration of which depends on how well you have handled the storming phase. And once that is passed, you get into a normal performing stage. Unless you are able to deliver over and above what you have committed, you push the client, you push the customer towards a better way of working. That's when you become a high performing team.
So do you believe there is a gap between sales and deliveries works? And if yes, how do you think it affects the client relation with the company?
So in a previous life, we used to say, client wants the moon when all we have is a light bulb. Right? So talking about the industry in general, there is definitely a difference in how sales promises things and what delivery can do, right? So there has to be a balance between selling what you are capable of versus what you can deliver today. So you don't want to set false expectations to the client, but you also don't want to limit your delivery teams.
Do you think the IT sales model has evolved?
Not really. It's a cyclical kind of model. Obviously, deals have become much more complex. There is a larger focus on technology. There is a larger focus on competency. But I feel there is an even larger focus on people. Clients today are asking, who are the people that you are going to put in? Can I talk to them? Can I make sure they fit in my expectations, my culture, etc.? So a lot more focus on the people who are actually delivering is what I see as very different from the time that I started my career in.
Pre-sales isn't a very popular career growth path, but what made you choose solution engineering?
So every stage of my career, whenever I think I'm comfortable now, I know what I'm doing, I can coast along, something comes up and changes that, right? And I land in something that I don't know anything about, and I have to learn from the ground up. And after all of these various kinds of roles across countries, across geographies, in one of my previous organizations, I landed in as a solutions engineer or a solutions lead. They said, you know business, you have worked in the functional domain, you have worked in delivery, you have worked on the client side of things, right? So a combination of all of these is what we need for a solution engineering role.
Right.
You need to understand the business challenge, the business problem they are trying to solve, the specific technology that they are trying to solve, and you need to be able to articulate how both of these match. Right, so it's like a Venn diagram which had some small center, right? So that's where I landed.
If you can switch places with somebody with some iconic personality from any era, who would that be and why?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think there would be primarily three. One is Jim Corbett, hunter, conservationist from early 19th century, 20th century to till about the time India got our independence.
Okay.
Right? The second person is Yuri Gagarin. He's the first human in space. And I'm always wondering how it would have been for somebody to go out of Earth for the first time, stand apart from the Earth and look at Earth. Third person is the founder of Google, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, right, founders. Now, to get an idea and to say that I'll make a multi-billion-dollar business out of aggregating all of the information that is available and providing a way for people to search and find that information accurately, it seems trivial today, right, from a conceptual perspective. But when you look at how they built that into such a big thing today, that Google now is a verb, right?
It is.
Why don't you Google it? Is something that we do common.
Tough to imagine a life without Google right now.
Right. My choice, as I said, would probably be Google.
Google. Yes. Okay, Sridhar, let's do fire shots now. This is more like a rapid fire round. I'll ask you and give you choices and not give you choices, but your answer has to be rapid. So pick one, living out of suitcase or a 9 to 6 job with a routine?
Out of a suitcase.
Okay. Putting together solutions or delivering solutions?
Putting together solutions.
Okay. Selling services or selling products?
Services.
Networking or holidaying? Preferred way to spend a weekend?
Holidaying? How can you even ask that question?
Would you rather invest time and efforts on a rich entrepreneur with no vision or a smart leader with a bootstrapping startup?
The latter. Smart leader with a bootstrap, even if they don't have money. Money is easy to come by, but not a vision for sustaining through turbulent times that are definitely going to be there.
That's great. So what do you absolutely love about your job?
Getting up in the morning and knowing that you are going to talk to people who have genuine problems, people whom you can use your expertise, your experience and knowledge, and the fact that a company like Qentelli is there to help them, right? That's one part. The second part is being able to talk to a diverse set of people, right, who come with their own challenges, their own prejudices, their own biases, but being able to overcome all of that and being able to make a sale or make a deal, right? So you're creating a relationship between two companies. It's not just a monetary one-off transaction, right? So being able to do that as a bridge, I think that's the privilege that only sales and solution engineering have. Right?
Okay. What do you absolutely hate about your job?
Oh my God, you're going to get me in trouble, Naishta. I wouldn't say hate, but kind of find it funny is we have to use cliches and phrases as part of our job just to meet people's expectations, right? So we say industry best practices. We know that you can't transplant practices; they don't always work. Right? Things like that actually, are very funny to me. But you have to kind of meet people's expectations in that.
Right. This has been a fun time, Sridhar. Thank you so much for sitting with us and discussing all these things. So that's been our third episode of Fireside Chat. Until next time, thank you.